Hello, people of the internet. This is Sir Lord, and today let's talk about morality. So, continuing in yesterday's discussion about triangle strategy and its unique system of freedom, morality, and utility, today we're going to tackle morality and its very concept as it pertains to the game, and maybe draw inspiration from other different media. And then, as you could probably guess, tomorrow we're going to be, or not tomorrow, but next video we'll be talking more about utility. So let's begin with defining morality as it pertains to triangle strategy. So triangle strategy's idea of morality is doing what is just for as many people as possible, doing right by the people who are oppressed, and making sure that no matter what action you take, you are confident in what you have done. You can sleep easy at night. You are able to have a clear conscience. Now, you would think, oh, so that must be the route that takes you to the true ending. But not necessarily, which is an interesting idea to bring up. So if you stick with morality the entire game, and you are constantly trying to be on the moral high ground, make sure that everyone, or as many people as you can, are taking care of, you're doing the needs of the people, you will run into an issue of running out of resources and or allies. Not everyone is equal in their moral compass, and the game is very much giving you that take, right? You are unable to get the true ending of the game if you are not at least willing to make a couple concessions and make allies in certain places, which is tough. If you have a very strong moral compass, it is not easy to do. You have to do things like smuggle illegal drugs. You have to figure out where to get allies, what deals to take, while trying to rationalize why you do the things that you do. And it's a very interesting take on the idea of morality, because you would think, oh, everyone should do the moral thing. And that's what we all preach nowadays, but how difficult is it to actually preach what you preach, correct morality, and go through with it? Because you're making your life extremely difficult. Not saying you shouldn't strive to do it, but you can understand why people wouldn't go strictly for the morality. And sometimes it's just not even the right time to change or to present your morality. In a lot of entertainment and media today, we have the moral code just being, or not even moral code, but like the morals of whatever story it is just being ham-fisted and heavy-handed. Like, it is being shoved into your face. And most people don't like just being told what to think. Yes, it might be correct. Like, don't kill people. Well, no, duh. Of course you don't want to kill people. But, like, that being a heavy message in a game, movie, TV show, like, you don't need to tell people this. We already know it. It kind of drags on, creates a weird, like, disconnect between the viewer and the audience, because it seems like the entertainment or the medium that message would be told through is just straight up in your face. Now, this is just an example, or like a hypothetical. Let's give a more concrete example of a moral just being way, way too in your face. So, for me, it's going to be The Last Jedi, Star Wars, right? Or we can go Captain Marvel, but I'll Star Wars. So, in Star Wars, the moral is awkward, right? So the moral is we can only save we can only win this war by saving what we love, kind of. There's three storylines, and they each have very heavily present morals, right? And they don't all make sense, and it makes the audience start to question and see the plot holes. That's one thing you do not want as a writer. You do not want your audience to get confused and partially be left to their own devices. You're not going to be able to accomplish it with any or everyone, but if you are unable to accomplish it with a large group of your audience, you're going to have a tough time. I'll get more into that in just a second. But the Finn and Rose side section of the story, where they're on Canto Bight, and all of Rose's lines, pretty much, from there on to the end of the show, or end of the movie, my bad, is her giving, like, either a moral speech showing Finn, hey, everything isn't as it seems, hey, animal cruelty, bad, don't do it, like, all of these are extremely heavy handed. It's kind of a slap in the face with how heavy handed it is. Not saying it takes or adds or detracts from the movie. I would say it detracts, but everyone likes their own movies. Um, but that moral, that in your face, hey, don't do this, creates a large disconnect between the audience and the medium. So, what I was talking about with why you don't want to do it as a writer is if you do that and you leave your audience to think, you will get nitpicked to hell. And I'm not even kidding. Like, you can look at the Last Jedi, like, reviews on YouTube, and you'll see they're like 4 to 5 hours. And most of these reviews, like, I'm not going to criticize why you like or don't like the movie, but most of these reviews, worthless. Like, actually worthless. Now, I'm not meaning in terms of, like, they have no meaning, but whether or not it's giving an accurate portrayal of how good the movie is, I would argue a lot of them are not, because they're nitpicking the universe, the not necessarily the story, but the individual characters. They're kind of getting confused and lost in the details for these reviews, rather than the overarching narrative and what they dislike about this movie, like the overall story, for instance. Let's take the Lightspeed cannon or the Lightspeed shot in the movie. A lot of people see that and they're like, oh, it looks really cool, but man, they really don't like how it presents itself in Star Wars. Or you can take the bombers at the beginning. You can find a gajillion examples of, like, things that just don't make sense. It's a fantasy setting. Not everything's going to make sense. And conflicts with prior established canon, bombers, lightspeed, battering ram, whatever you want to call it. Like, all of these are things that are very nitpicky. And I'm not saying that they should be in the movie, or you shouldn't complain about it. These are issues, and people will have issues with these. Some people just really like the lore and the detailed world building in Star Wars, and a lot of these break it. But I would say the bigger issue in general is the movie itself creates a disconnect for you to start noticing all these little things, and it will just compound and compound and compound until eventually the audience hates your movie, regardless of what good lies inside of it. And I think that's the biggest flaw of the Rise of, or not the Rise of Skywalker, the Last Jedi. Then let's look at, I think I wanted to talk about Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. So in Captain Marvel, it's girls are powerful. Okay? Yes, true. But I don't know that many people that are questioning that right now. Or if you want to do it like that, then don't be so. Be a little bit more nuanced on it. And take a little bit more care and tact in presenting your moral argument. Because that movie suffers from having a conflicting message, weirdly enough. Like, you would think, oh, the moral is uh, about expressing yourself, letting your emotions go, being you. Except the movie does a terrible, terrible job of showing its moral. Like, it's very in your face about the moral, but it's not very good. It tells you the moral, it doesn't show you the moral. In fact, it shows you the opposite of the moral. So, for instance, let's take the final scene, right? This whole movie, uh, Brie Larson or Carol Danvers or whatever her name is, I think Brie Larson's the actor or actress, my bad, and Carol Danvers is the character's name, has been told that she is rebellious, she is hot headed, and she is willing to do action. The acting does not show any of that. She is stone faced most of the time when they're like, you really do have a rebellious streak. She's just stone cold. Stone cold. You have to control your emotions. Stone cold. Every time. It's like she is controlling her emotions. She has no emotional capacity. That's what it seems like every time she's on screen. Except for her quippy, sassy one liners, which is whatever superhero movie. And so in the end, when she is not showing her emotions, and the person who's been telling her not to show her emotions is angry, he's livid, he's screaming, and he's showing his emotions, it creates a huge disconnect. It's like that what you're telling me doesn't line up with what you've been showing me. And it's crazy. Now, I've gotten way off topic. Those detours took a little too long. So let's wrap it back to morality. So it's just a tough idea of where someone's morals is, right? Because some people think one thing is moral. Let's take the example of the game where you have a group of people, right? And for the good of many, you will oppress the little. Some people can justify that as moral. Yes, the acts done to the few is horrendous, but because it is satisfying the group, the overarching people, then it is moral and just. But then you have someone else who's saying, if somebody's not happy, this is not a correct society. This is not moral, and you are in the wrong. And the game kind of presents you with that issue. Now, it does make morality the one that's saving everybody, but it's still an interesting issue that the game presents to you, and it's an interesting dilemma. Do you save the one that might have significant meaning to you, or just the one in general, or do you sacrifice the 100 that are having a wonderful time? Like, it's a moral dilemma that doesn't have a clear answer, and it is a very interesting topic that the game brings up. But that's gonna be it for me today. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about utility. We'll see if I get off track on that. And then in the comments below, let me know what you think about all of this. What do you think of morality? What do you think is like an accurate portrayal of it? And what would you do in the 100 versus the 1 scenario? Like, would you go for the as many people as possible to make sure that most everyone is in a good spot, or would you go for the one? Because if you ignore the one, then you pretty much are failing your people too. Like, what would you guys pick? And give me an explanation as to why. My name has been Sir Lord, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.